Alita Battle Angel comes to us from director Robert Rodriguez and producer James Cameron, and is based on the manga by Yukito Kishiro. This is a film that I've been wanting to see for a long time. James Cameron bought the rights to the manga nearly 20 years ago and has spent all this time trying to get it made, being preoccupied with Avatar and other projects, while waiting for the technology to come along to make Alita possible. So while James Cameron didn't end up directing the film, and his screenplay, which was over 180 pages long, has been condensed into a 2-hour film, I have to say I'm incredibly happy with the results, with this easily being the best film that Robert Rodriguez has made since Sin City, and easily the best live-action manga adaptation to date. Now, my knowledge of Alita mainly comes from the old Battle Angel anime that came out way back in the 90s, but I haven't really read the manga, so I was going into the movie pretty fresh. For those that don't know, Alita is a cyborg. She is found by this Dr. Ito, and while her brain is human, her body is robotic, which is why she has the big anime eyes. And a lot of the movie is her trying to figure out who she is and learn more about the world she lives in, which has an Elysium-style setup of a utopian city that floats above the poor dystopian metropolis called Iron City. And a lot of people live their lives trying to get to this higher city. But this movie spends a lot of time as a coming-of-age story for Alita, which is smart because it helps us get invested in her character, where we really want to see her succeed even when she's being naive and getting her ass kicked. And so much of it has to do with Rosa Salazar, who just completely brings Alita to life through motion capture performance. With technology that is completely cutting edge, you can tell that people who really love and appreciate the manga put a lot of effort into realizing Alita, and to making sure that we cared about her. The extra time spent on Alita makes her feel really believable, and I never felt like she was out of place or jarring. Alita's relationship with Dr. Ito, played by Christoph Waltz, is where a lot of the emotion of the movie is, and any scenes between them are just wonderful. Now, I know that the original manga is quite violent and graphic, but things have been toned down a bit for the PG-13 rating, but don't let that dissuade you. The movie is still quite violent and pushes the rating where it can. The movie tries to cover a lot of ground too, with Alita becoming a bounty hunter and joining the spectacular motorball sport, but I actually found this all helps build the world and helps keep me interested because these were all things that I wanted to know more about. And the movie gives you enough of these things to want to know more about them in future films. You don't ever feel cheated, which is what I appreciated. A lot of these big world-building movies tend to rush things and never quite feel complete. Alita still wraps up in a really satisfying way, even though it leaves the door open for more. But aside from all this, the visual effects are really next level. Everything is gorgeously designed and animated, where all the characters can be easily distinguished from each other, while the world looks like it's been lived in. Even though everything is fantastical and super futuristic, it all feels like it could potentially exist one day. The action is all really well shot as well, with the motorball sequences being the absolute highlights. The motorball stuff really is worth paying to see this movie in IMAX and 3D and all of that. It completely immerses you in the action, and coupled with Junkie XL's score, makes for some extremely riveting moments. But Alita Battle Angel isn't perfect, and suffers in a few areas, particularly in how its more villainous characters are handled, played by Jennifer Connelly and Mahershala Ali. While they have a presence, they are a bit underutilized, and the motivations can be a little confusing. While I was intrigued to learn more about them, they just didn't really get a great deal to do, and so they wind up feeling undercooked, which in a way is fine. This movie is more about Alita, as Rodriguez takes the Marvel approach in spending more time to develop Alita's character as the hero, and they definitely succeed in doing that. I just hope we get a more compelling villain next time around. The love story is also fairly unnecessary, the actor playing Alita's boyfriend seeming miscast, as his acting chops were nowhere near the level of the rest of the cast. There were some pretty lazy line deliveries that could have just used a stronger actor, but as it turns out, Alita works a lot better when it isn't trying to have a love story. So I hope in a sequel, they just ignore having any love interest, because Alita is compelling on her own. But those are really the major gripes that I have with the film. Otherwise, I had a really enjoyable time with Alita, and I hope Rosa Salazar gets a bunch of recognition for her work, because I think she was absolutely incredible as Alita. This is a movie that I hope people are able to find and appreciate. This movie goes for a more simplified action-heavy plot, which is a smarter approach, I think, than trying for the heady existential questions posed by a movie like Ghost in the Shell, because I feel like audiences aren't really geared towards those questions, even though I love that stuff. I'm sure some fans of the manga are going to be a little bit disappointed that some of the smarter science fiction aspects have been dropped in favor of more action, but I think in this world where attention spans are constantly shortening as we await the next Marvel or DC blockbuster, this action-oriented approach was smart and gives Alita a bit of a chance when it doesn't carry a big label like Marvel or DC. So I do hope this movie catches on and people appreciate it. For me, it was like watching an old school 90s anime on the big screen. I had a really wonderful time with it. It's easily the best live action manga adaptation that Hollywood has ever made, and I really hope it does well so that other people doing manga adaptations can learn from it. So go and see Alita Battle Angel, it is absolutely worth your time, even if it has a few flaws. Alita Battle Angel gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Monofix. Bye guys.